Good high noon. Facebook. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? When you jump in, I'm asking that if you could just share it with your followers. High noon with Pastor Kevin. This is just time that I take out to just think out loud concerning certain topics that I believe are of interest to those of you all that are my followers on my social media platforms. High noon at noon. When you jump on, could you just do me a favor and just share it with your followers? Share it with your followers. High noon at noon. At noon. Wanted to talk about something that I think that we as the believers, and even those of you all that follow me that are not believers, um, I think that this topic today could reaches across different spectrums. Um, it reaches different spectrums and fields and with people in different areas of their life. I want to talk to you this morning about this about PCP. I know some of you all are jumping on here saying Pastor Kevin went back out there. He back out there off the PCP. Yeah, I am off the PCP, but it's a different PCP this time. Yeah, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to batten up the hatches. You don't have to lock stuff down. You don't have to try to get me to no rehab. Why? Because I don't never want to get off of this PCP. Amen. Amen. Listen, so I want to kind of talk to you this morning. Brother Ronnie, how you doing? How you doing down there in Virginia, man? Yeah, I saw your message this morning. Yeah, man. It's unfortunate that they had to shut down the Hampton Ministers Conference. But we believe in God that even through this, God is going to use this time to be a blessing to us and to heal us and bring us closer to Him. I believe that this season that we're going through, this season is a season of bringing us back in closer relationship with the God of our salvation. Bishop, what's up, Bishop Rufus Retch? the right bishop. How you doing, sir? Bernard, how you doing? I just want to, hey, Doc, I just want to, I know when people saw the PCP on my post, y'all started praying. Pastor Kevin back off the PCP. No, it's a different PCP. I am off the PCP, but I'm off a different PCP. Listen, let me jump in real quick because I don't have long with you. You know, so many people are flooding the airways and the internet with their live stream. Love you, Doc. Love you, Bishop. Here it is. I want to talk to you about PCP. And for this, the PCP stands for what is your post-corona plan? I know. Okay, I know. Y'all thought I was talking about that stuff that they use to embalm bodies and that stuff that used to call the wacky weed, the stuff that used to have us outside. Love you, Bernard, bro. Good to hear from you. I know you talking about that stuff that used to have us out there. Can I say it? Yeah, butt naked. No, we're not talking about that wacky weed. We talking about the new PCP. This is the PCP that all of us should be on. All of us right now should be on this. All of us should be pushing this kind of PCP at this time. We should be pushing a post-corona plan. What is your plan post-corona? What is it? What has Corona cost you? What has Corona caught you off guard in? What is it? How has post Corona affected you in a way that no matter what happens again, if Corona peaks his head again, some scientists say that it's gonna peak, then it's gonna go away, then it's gonna peak again. But next time it's not gonna catch us with our proverbial pants down. We are going to be prepared. Why? Because hey, Sister Barbara, we are working on our post-corona virus plan right now. And can I just share a little bit about a little bit? So I had to look up to understand when we talk about the virus, what are we talking about? And the word virus, it's an infective agent that typically consists of a nucleic acid molecule in a protein coat. It is too small to be seen by light microscopy and is able to multiply only within living cells. Watch this. It's able to multiply only within living cells. Watch this. Second definition. It's a piece of a code which is capable, this is the part that got me, of copying itself and typically has detrimental effect, like such as corrupting the system or destroying data. Watch this. A virus is a piece of a code that has the capability of copying itself. Watch this. Reproducing itself, duplicating itself, and it has a detrimental effect such as corrupting a system. Watch this. And I believe that we are under a kingdom system, and based upon the things that we have come in contact with, it has corrupted the system. Watch this, in us, not God's system, but it is beginning to copy itself, and it is infecting those that we come in contact with. Thus, the reason why we have been sent into quarantine. Why? Because something is corrupting the system. Oh God, God's system, God's way of doing things, God's plan on earth has been corrupted by principalities, by powers, by things that come to copy itself and to infect those that we come in contact with. Okay, so now so what happens, and the best way to deal with a system that keeps showing up time and time again, that keeps showing its head, is that we have to go into quarantine. Here it is. It has to go. It's a spiritual virus. I see you, Ronnie, joining. It's a spiritual virus. And so we have to go in quarantine. Watch this. But because we are a people, watch this, who have become so comfortable, and some, hey Nikki, how you doing? So used to being in crowds, we don't know how to steal away and go into our private time with God, to be able to quarantine ourselves, to keep the virus from copying and duplicating itself in us. Here it is. So now the city has sent us. The first thing they did was they put us in no mass gatherings, no mass Pastor E, hey, how the snow going? How's the snow going on up there? I hope y'all praying for y'all. Chad, what's up, buddy? You out in the parking lot? I see you, Doc. So what happens is they put us in the quarantine. The first they shut down mass gatherings of 250 or more. And once they saw that was not conducive enough for the virus in us to keep copying itself and duplicating itself, thus infecting those that we come in contact with, they shrunk it down to 50. And then once they looked at the data and they says even 50, even quarantining you into just groups of no larger than 50 is not working. We have to shrink it down to 10. And now that we've shrunk it down to 10, they came back with a mandate today and says even 10 is too many. We want everybody to self-quarantine. Wow. Listen to me. Everybody has to self-quarantine. Let me tell you what that means. That means that we as a people have to understand that you have to be quarantined with me. You have to be quarantined with you. And one of the challenges and one of the struggles and one of the things that we resist is having to be quarantined with me. Look at that. And let me see if I can help you. When I was in 2007, let me tell you, in 2007, January the 7th, 2007, I was arrested. Let me say this for the last time. I was arrested for the last time. And this time when I was arrested, they took me down. They put me in this big holding cell. They put me in this big holding cell with people from everywhere, and they held me there for a while until they can get me into my housing unit. They had me on a $1 million bond, a $1 million bond. So I couldn't get out. My folk wasn't answering my phone call, and little did they know they could have put me on a $50 bond at that time, and I still couldn't get out. But they put me on, and then once they moved me into my housing unit into H12, I got into H12, and all the time I'm telling myself, I can't wait to get out of here. I can't wait to get out of here. And what I want to remind you of is that for 18 years of my life, I spent time going back and forth in jail, back and forth in jail. And every time I came back out of jail, I repeated the cycle that got me back in jail. Let me see if I can help you. Every time I got out of jail, I repeated the same cycle that got me back in jail. Watch this, because the virus had copied itself. Good God Almighty. I'm helping myself this morning. The very thing that was causing me to find myself in prison, finding myself living beneath my privilege as a son of God, the virus that was corrupting the system that God has created me to operate in was copying itself. And every time I got out, it duplicated itself in me and landed me back in prison again. But this time in 2007, it was different. Let me tell you why it was different. How it was different this time was while I was in H12, and while I was in H12, I was spending more time looking out the window. Watch this, waiting to get out. Waiting to get out. And I started reading the newspaper, and I was hanging around. I was playing bones, and I was playing spades, and I was playing bid whist, and I was hanging out with where everybody was hanging out. I was in gatherings larger than 50. I was in gathering, and I was not doing anything to prepare for my exiting. Watch this. PCP. For those of you all that have jumped on, I'm talking about PCP. Angelo, I'm not tripping. I have not relapsed. I'm not off of that PCP. I'm off of a different PCP. I'm off of my post-corona plan. Watch this, because this virus is not going to duplicate itself or copy itself and find me back into the same crisis that I find myself in today. Here it is. So what I did was, then I was sitting there reading the newspaper, and this one guy came walking past me. Out of all of these people in there, the one guy came and he took my newspaper. And then he took it in front of everybody. And I'm sitting in jail, and one of the things that you must understand when you are locked up is you can't allow yourself to be violated in gatherings larger than 50. I was in a gathering larger than 50, and because I was in a gathering, I allowed the gathering to influence my actions when someone I felt violated me. So I got up and I did what you're supposed to do. So I thought I punched him in the face. We got the rumbling. We started wrecking. Goon squad come in. They spray me with with pepper spray. Then they take me down to H5. For some of you all that know Upper Marlboro, they take me down into H5, maximum security, where they tell the outside that you locked up for 24 hours at a time. But take it from somebody that's been in there, it's more like 48 or 72 hours before they even walk past your room. Here it is. So here I am. I'm in H5. Watch this. I'm in a dark cell. Watch this. And now I'm facing the one thing that I was trying to avoid. I was quarantined with me. 200 gatherings of 250 was too many. Gatherings of 50 was too many. Gatherings of 10, this was too many. So now God had to self-quarantine me with me. And for the first days, I tried to look out of that little peephole, but my visibility was low because I could only see a very limited view to the left or to the right. So I couldn't really see. And so what I had to realize is now I had to realize that God was quarantining me with me. And now this was the time for me to reflect on me. Just don't take this self-quarantine as a negative. It's an opportunity for you to take a reflection on who you are as a person, as a believer. And what I finally, and I was in there, and I finally said, I just started, I ran out of things to do. So I said, let me, at least I have my Bible, and I got some paper and some pencil. So I started writing and I started reading. Watch this. And then I turned to Psalms and I said, and it says, search me, O Lord, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. Watch this. If there's any wicked way in me, lead me in the way everlasting. Here it is. I started my post-corona plan. I wasn't waiting until I got out. I started my plan while I was in. Watch this. And so from that very moment in 2007, I started to read and I started to write what I was going to do when I got out. Why? Because I could not allow this virus that had been duplicating itself for 18 years of my life, this virus that has been copying itself in my behaviors, copying itself in my family, copying itself in my attitude, copying itself in my employment, disrupting my life, causing me to live beneath the privileges what God has called. I could not allow this virus to show up again when I got out. My virus was drug and crack addiction. I could not allow it to copy myself. So what I started doing was started preparing for when I got out. Because one of the challenges and one of the things that causes us to repeat the cycle is that we don't have a plan for when we get out. And we come out without a plan, and we end up allowing people to give us their plan for us, and it ends up taking us back into the place that we thought were done with, the things that we thought. So I said, this time I'm going to have a plan when I get out. So I started my plan. And for those of us that's in self-quarantine, you need to start writing your post-coronavirus plan. Watch this. You need to start writing. And so let me give you 3 things what your post-coronavirus plan should do based upon this virus that we've been dealing with. Your post-coronavirus plan should be a physical plan. Here it is. Some of us can't rest because we don't know how to rest. Some of us don't know how to sit quiet and sit still and just take care of yourself. So the first part of the PCP of your PCP, your post should be a physical plan. Forget ye not that your body is a temple of God. We need to watch this. We need to use some of the additional time that may be available from canceled, from closed, from shut down, commuting to rest. We need to rest. Watch this. Also, because we have to have a physical plan for when we get out, we have to learn we cannot forget to exercise. Get some fresh air while you're going through this self-quarantine. We have to learn we have to start monitoring stress in ourselves and in those that we are around. We have to start learning how to monitor stress. We should also review the CDC guidelines for COVID symptoms and best prevention practices. Watch this. And we have to realize that, now this is hard, only God is invincible. The rest of us need to take proper precautions for the sake of ourselves and for the sake of others. So we need to have a physical plan. Watch this. Secondly, we need to have a financial plan. Here it is. Because some of us, if we be honest, have been living from paycheck to paycheck. We have been living beneath our privileges. We have been living in such a way, watch this, where one check will destroy us. So we now have to start using, and even for those of us that have a little something to hold us off for a while, even we need to start understanding, start having a plan for our finances. Here it is. this. What we can do, let me tell you what you do. We can start, for those of us, we can leverage lower current interest rates for the necessary requirements and refinancing. Let me say that again. We need to start leveraging lower current interest rates for necessary, listen to that word, necessary requirements and financing, while avoiding unnecessary purchases. Especially if you are employed in a sector that is susceptible to potential economic decline. If you're working for a restaurant and you know restaurants are closed, now is not the time for you to be at Louis Vuitton and at the Gucci boutique. You need to start avoiding unnecessary purchasing. During this time, we have to get back to being the people that learn how to be content in all our ways. We need to have a financial plan so that, watch this, so whatever comes up again, watch this. We don't look, watch this. We won't fret and we won't fear. Why? Because we had a post-corona plan. So because we have a post-corona plan, watch this. The next thing that raises heads, the next virus that comes to try to copy itself or duplicate itself won't take us off guard. Why? Because we have an immune system that we created the last time. Watch this, that we were infected by this thing that kept showing its head. And what we are doing when we have a PCP, a post-corona, we are creating an immune system. Watch this. Not saying that we're not going to come in contact with it. Watch this. But it won't tear us. It won't utterly destroy us. Why? Because we are a people that prepare. Because those that look for an opportunity without preparing for an opportunity will blow an opportunity. And the opportunity of a lifetime only lasts the lifetime of that opportunity. So you got to have a plan. Watch this. The next piece of the financial plan is that home refinancing loans are available. For those of us that we've had some higher interest rates when we had when we bought our homes, there are refinancing loans that are lower. Watch this, but these can also put your unnecessary risk at your home. Put your home. So get with a financial advisor. Get with someone. Hey, how you doing? Hey, get with a financial advisor. Get with somebody that is proven in these areas. One of the things that I tell people all the time, and I say it, is there's no blind man can sell me no eyeglasses. No bald head man can sell me no hair grease. And no barefoot man can sell me no shoes. Why? So I only partner with people who have proven in the areas of my desire and my need. So get with somebody who's a financial person. I'll put a shameless plug. Ernest Burley, one of the top financial advisors. You can reach out to him. You can find him. He's always sending out information. He is one of the, matter of fact, he's an advisor for the rookies of the NFL. When they come into the rookie, he helps them plan their finances. That's just a shameless plug, Ernest Burley. I'm not even going to charge you for that, Doc. But yeah, get yourself a financial plan. Watch this. Also, now may be a good time to initiate dollar cost averaging for investments, not withdrawals. Now is not the time for withdrawals. Now is the time to initiate dollar cost averaging for investments. Okay? Next thing, be mindful of spending. I said that before. Watch this. For some, it's not too late to build up your emergency reserve fund. Watch this. To build up your financial immune system. Protect your cash flow. You can protect your cash flow. Watch this. So what we need to do now is we need to build up our financial immune system by putting some money away. You're not commuting. That money that you was using to commute every week, that money that you was using to fill up your gas tank, that money that you would, watch this, if you got 4 or 5 cars and you only drive one, but you in shelter in place, put some of them cars on comprehensive insurance for the next 2 months. I know the insurance company mad at me. Tell them you want to put it on comprehensive. Why paying all this full coverage and it's parked in your driveway? Look, put some comprehensive insurance on some of your stuff that you got, and so to lower some of the rate, take advantage of some of the things that you're not readily using and do. Watch this, but here's the big one. We're talking about financial plan. You are quarantined with you. You have been quarantined with you. Here it is. Now, If God is quarantining with you, watch this. Everything that you're going to plan is going to come out of you. Let me say that again. Everything that you plan is going to come out of you. Watch this. You're not being influenced by the left and by the right. You don't have mook, nook, and them trying to tell you what you should do, what you shouldn't do. God is quarantining you with you so that you can realize what is in you. Watch this. So when I was locked up in H5, I told you I was locked down in H5. With nobody in there but me. Watch this. I know they tell y'all that maximum security, you locked up for 24 hours, then you get a break. I was there, and I know 48 to 72 hours, they don't even come and peek on you. So I was in there by myself. So I had to write a plan, but the plan had to come out of me. Watch this. The plan had to come. Got you, Angelo. The plan that I was going to write was going to come out of me. This was going to be a me plan. Me and God were alone, and I was going to write a plan, a post-coronavirus plan, and me and God was going to use it, and we were going to create this plan. And then when I got off of I came out of self-quarantine, I was not going to get caught off guard, and I was not going to not have a plan so somebody else can tell me what their plan is for me. Watch this. So now, that book that you've been talking about, write it while you're in self-quarantine. That business that you've been talking about for the last 20 years, write the business plan while you got time. Look, what you birth out of you will support you as you go forward. I say this all the time. My dad told me this years ago. He said the reason why some of us, and you see so many times, we have people that have multiple children, and it seems like they have struggles taking care of multiple children. You got one that's 5, one that's 4, one that's 3, one that's 2, one that's 1. And my father said in the spirit realm, when you are pregnant with a promise and with a dream, he says what happens is when you birth out of that promise, you need to nurture that promise. Watch this. My father said the first 12 years are important when you're raising a child. And when my father and my mother had me, they had me like 9 years after my brother. Watch this. And he said, because I wanted your brother to be old enough to help me take care of you. Watch this. So for all of us that's opening a new business every week we start something else, and what happens is we end up neglecting all of the dreams and the promises we birthed out of us. Why? Because we are not nurturing the one until the one can take care of the other one. Watch, let me see what it looks like. If you opening up a business, put your resources, put your energy into that one business. Let that business grow. Let that business get to the place where it's sustainable. Then birth the next vision, and the first business will be able to support the next business until the next business come out of Pampers and able to walk on its own. Good God Almighty, if I haven't said nothing else, we have to learn how to nurture the one thing that got the first thing, and let the first thing support the next thing. Here it is. So we have to write that book. Watch this. And so the third component, and it was filtered through all of this, is in our post-corona plan, is that we got to have a spiritual plan. We have to use some of the additional time that may be available from cancel to consecrate ourselves. Watch this. To bring ourselves into a place where we can consecrate ourselves unto God. We need to use some of this time to reestablish spiritual disciplines, prayer, fasting, and reading our word. We need to consider that small acts of kindness are still ministry. Encourage others. Use this time to encourage others. We have to remember to call on the elders and the deacons and your personal prayer partners. And we have to, watch this, this is a plug. We have to remember to worship virtually. Our virtual worship experience is available here. I know everybody's having some type of, but you can find a church everywhere now. And anytime you want them, our services, our worship experiences are 6:30 on Saturdays, 9 a.m. on Sundays, 11 a.m. on Sundays, 1 p.m. on Sundays, and 6:30 p.m. on Sunday evenings. Worship with us virtually through those times, and so many other people have excellent. I went to about 10 churches this Sunday. I went to 10 churches. I went to my pastor's church, Pastor Jenkins. Amazing. I had to text him and say, man, awesome, awesome. But I want you all to know that we have to have a spiritual plan while we are in quarantine with us. You are quarantined. Look at, say this to yourself. I'm quarantined with me. I'm quarantined with me. So every plan that's going to come for my post is going to come out of me, because God has given you the ability to create wealth. He's given you the ability. He said, when I gave you Jesus, I gave you everything you need. Write the plan, write the book. Let me say, some of you all have seen that my book was just released, Homeless in Your Own Backyard. So when you see that, you say, oh man, Pastor Kevin just wrote a book. No, I didn't just write a book. Watch this. I started writing my book when I was in H5. Did not tell you that in 2007, January the 7th was the last time that I was locked up. I made my mind up the last time I was going to get high, the last time I was going to get locked up. It said, and I said, and what I did was, while I was in H5 in maximum security, I started writing my book. Watch this. What do you mean, Pastor Kevin? I said that the virus kept copying itself in me, and every time I came out without a plan, I was susceptible to somebody else's plan for me, and it landed me back in prison. It landed me back in jail. It landed me back on drugs. It landed me back living as homeless in my own backyard. So this time I started writing my plan, and I started writing. See, some of us, when we start writing our books, we start with Once Upon a Time. If your book start with Once Upon a Time, you're starting too late. Because you're talking about something, you're writing about something that used to be. But when you have the courage to write while you're still in captivity, if you have the courage to write your story while you still, because guess why I started writing it while I was in prison. I love good times. I don't know how many of you all love good times. I love good times. But one of my worst times, one of my most hurtful and most painful times was when James died. How James, the backbone of the family, is going to die. How is James going to die? And I started crying. I said, Mom, James was in a car accident in M-I, crooked letter I, crooked letter I, humpback I. And my mother said, oh, James ain't dead for real. His name is John Amos. I said, no, Mom, because Florence said, damn. My mother said, she said, Kevin, James is not dead for real. I said, well, what happened, Mom? She says he could not agree with his role in the story no more, so he wrote himself out of the story. Oh, God. Oh, God. And when I was locked up at H5, I no longer agreed with my role in my current story. So I started narrating myself out of that story. Watch this. I started writing a new chapter in my life. He said, because as long as I allow other people to keep me in a story that watch this, that I don't agree with, I didn't agree with being homeless because I was a child of the King. I didn't agree no longer with sleeping behind a liquor store. So I started writing myself out of that liquor store story. I didn't agree no longer with having to sleep on the metro. So I started writing myself out of that portion of my story. I didn't agree no longer with being an alcohol. I started writing myself out of my story. God Almighty. And if you don't agree, if you're not happy with where you are, if you don't agree, if you believe that God has more for you than where you are, get your pen and your pencil while you are quarantined with you and start writing yourself out of that story. So when people read my story, and if you've been online and you've seen some of the little clips and videos, I started writing it while I was sitting at that box. I started writing it when I was running from the dude who was shooting me in my back. I started writing it while I was sleeping homeless in my backyard, because I had to write where I was in order to write where I'm planning to be. And I started writing myself. So when I came out this time, 3 days later, I forgot to tell you, they dropped all the charges, the bond was stopped, and I had a PCP, a post-corona plan. And when I came out this time, I'm not saying I ain't made no mistakes, but that devil I shall see no more, because I wrote myself out of that story. And now the devil is like Florida saying, damn, 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 because you lost me. You should have killed me when you had me. And because since I'm living, I'm going to go ahead and live. So I encourage you, while you are in self-quarantine, say it like Thomas said it. Search me, O Lord, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. And if there is something in me, and I'm not going to say, because I know there's something in me, lead me in the way so that I can start writing myself out of this chapter of my life. Listen, I love you. I pray that God bless you. I pray that we all be safe. I pray that we are following the CDC guidelines. And remember that even now, God is still in control. And no matter what it looks like, this too shall pass. So whatever it is that keeps showing its head in your life, whatever it is that keeps copying itself, whatever the virus is that keeps duplicating itself and infecting every area of your life, now is the time for you to go into self-quarantine with you and start writing yourself out of this chapter. God bless you. I love you. And see you next week for your High Noon at Noon with Pastor Kev. Hey, Sister Lisa, how you doing? How you doing? God bless you.